Gravity and Creation. The Grand Febernachy SMF RVS Theory by L.S. Larkey, available on Amazon today. Imagine gazing upon the grand tapestry of the universe and sensing that everything, every atom, every planet, every star, moves according to one sublime dance. No patchwork of separate laws, no hidden substances lurking in the shadows. Instead, a single radiant framework harmonizes the tiniest realm of electrons and nuclei with the vast orchestras of planetary orbits and ring systems. That's the heart of the Grand Febernachy Subtle Magnetic Field Relative Vacuum of Space, SMF RVS Theory, a shimmering vision of cosmic unity. We have long sought a theory of everything, a guiding principle that unveils how atomic structure ties directly into the majestic spirals of galaxies. Traditionally, we find separate stories for subatomic particles and celestial bodies, quantum mechanics for the micro, gravity for the macro. The Grand Febernachy approach ends this fragmentation by unveiling a fractal wave synergy that permeates all domains. In simpler terms, it asserts that so-called magic atomic numbers, the orbits of our planets, including their rings, and even our stars' commanding presence, flow from the same cosmic push. In this epic journey, we will cast aside the usual mention of dark matter or dark energy, for they no longer hold sway in this tapestry. Instead, a single luminous interplay between what we call subtle magnetic fields, SMFs, and a dynamic relative vacuum of space, RVS, produces an outward push, weaving patterns that shape atoms as well as solar systems. Prepare to travel through the shimmering fractal geometry of existence, discovering how stable elements and planetary orbits reflect different facets of one mighty cosmic design. In most descriptions of nature, people imagine gravity as a pull, an invisible rope dragging masses together. The Grand Febernachy view upends that tale by emphasizing a push, the result of two key players, subtle magnetic fields, SMFs, and the relative vacuum of space, RVS. Think of ordinary magnetism and then stretch that concept until it spans hidden dimensions or fractal layers. These subtle magnetic fields go beyond the everyday magnets that tug at fridge doors. They're pervasive structures that might form intricate patterns reminiscent of sacred geometry. In this theory, they shape the vacuum itself, guiding how space exerts an outward force. Where older physics might say space is empty, the Fibonacci approach declares space is alive with potential. RVS is a living vacuum, not simply a void. Its pressure changes gently from place to place, creating a soft cosmic push. When RVS intermingles with the subtle magnetic field, pockets of heightened or diminished pressure appear, orchestrating the cosmic dance. In older frameworks, everything from particle interactions to black hole collapse is driven by gravitational pull. Here, you awaken to the notion that a vacuum push, shaped by magnetism's subtle presence, can sculpt how planets move, how atoms stabilize, even how stars maintain their dominion. This synergy resolves deep cosmic puzzles, like why we see no monstrous missing mass at galactic edges, or how black holes can preserve quantum information simply by positing that the vacuum is not inert, but engaged in a timeless, fractal interplay with subtle magnetism. If SMFs and RVS create the push, how does that push appear at such different scales from subatomic to solar? The answer lies in a fractal wave logic. Picture overlapping circles in a flower of life pattern, each circle crossing the next in repeated arcs. At each intersection, you get a node. Now imagine that on a cosmic scale. In the realm of electrons and protons, certain magic numbers of protons, 2, 8, 14, 20, 34, 50, 54, 82, 90, 108, 114, 126, 164, stand out for their enhanced stability. Traditionally, these are partial or full closures of nuclear shells. Under the Grand Febernachy lens, those magic points are fractal wave nodes, like intersections in the cosmic flower pattern on a tiny scale. The vacuum push organizes the distribution of subatomic energy states, so some atomic numbers form special peaks of stability, akin to wave crests. Expand your view to a solar system. We find nodes again, but now in orbits of planets. Distances from the star cluster at certain stable shells. In some old proposals, people tried simple numerical sequences to explain planetary spacing, but those attempts never matched the real orbits well. In contrast, a fractal wave logic reveals each planet's orbit can be a node in the same cosmic push that organizes atomic structure. When you unify these scales, you see a universal flower of life geometry. Subatomic nodes correspond to magic numbers, while planetary nodes manifest as orbits. Where atomic shells are found at one distant scale, planetary rings orbits appear at another, both shaped by the same fractal tapestry. One of the more surprising revelations is that not every cosmic node is about a planet alone. Some are about the ring systems around certain planets. Why? In the atomic domain, we notice that some magic numbers come in pairs, Z equals 50 and Z equals 54, or Z equals 82 and Z equals 90, or Z equals 108 and Z equals 114. These appear relatively close to each other. The Febernachy viewpoint says, yes, these are subwave cycle closures. On the larger scale, that translates to planet node and ring node in quick succession, Jupiter might correspond to Z equals 50, while the rings of Jupiter correspond to Z equals 54. Saturn might be Z equals 82, and the next ring node is Z equals 90. Uranus might land at Z equals 108, and its rings at Z equals 114. Hence, a small separation in the subatomic domain becomes a short radial gap from a planet's main orbit to its ring zone in the macro realm. It's a fractal echo, one wave cycle just after another, revealing that rings and planets share the same cosmic wave that once manifested as a pair of close nuclear stability peaks. In many theories, the star is the primary gravitational anchor, with orbits fanning out around it. But the Grand Febernachy approach goes further. It equates the final superheavy node, Z equals 164, not with another distant planet, but with the Sun itself. The fractal wave thus closes with the star. Symbolically, you might say the largest predicted superheavy element in the subatomic scale is the star at the cosmic scale. This counters the usual sense that the star is at the center. Instead, in fractal geometry, you can see the star as the ultimate boundary condition of the wave cycle, a cosmic apex node. By the time you climb up the wave cycles from Mercury, Z equals 2, onward, you eventually reach the star at Z equals 164. It is an awe-inspiring twist. Subatomic closure and cosmic closure unify as one final fractal boundary. Typically, to explain galaxy rotation or cosmic acceleration, mainstream astrophysics invented dark matter halos and dark energy expansions. But in the Grand Febernachy worldview, the same subtle magnetism and vacuum push that sets fractal nodes also influences matter on galactic scales. No hidden mass is required to flatten rotation curves, because vacuum push shapes the velocity distribution from a fractal wave background. Instead of a cosmological constant or mysterious fluid, the vacuum's fractal push remains mild but persistent across cosmic expanses, gently accelerating galaxies away from each other. This merges cosmic expansion with subatomic stability under a single wave synergy. No separate dark energy field needed. There's a transcendent note to all this. The flower of life geometry often evokes spiritual or sacred motifs, overlapping circles that produce blossoming node patterns. The Grand Febernachy model suggests each star system is effectively its own flower of life, weaving ring orbits, planets, and star apex into a fractal matrix. But that also implies different star systems, different magic numbers. Each system's arrangement of stars, planets, ring subnodes, and so forth produce a distinct fractal wave. Some other solar system might have stable elements at numbers we consider ephemeral or extremely radioactive. Chemistry is local. The stable table we know, Z equals 2, 8, 14, 20, etc., is specifically shaped by our star plus planet synergy. Visit an alien system with 2 suns or widely spaced giant planets, and you might discover magic numbers that diverge from ours. This idea unravels any assumption that all cosmic matter must share the same set of stable isotopes. Instead, in each cosmic flower of life, new patterns may flourish. Another riddle addressed by the SMF RVS synergy is the black hole information paradox. In standard thinking, black holes crush matter into singularities, seemingly destroying quantum information. But here, no true singularity. The fractal push from the vacuum eventually saturates at extreme densities, preventing infinite meltdown. Unitary evaporation. Over immense times, the hole's boundary re-encodes matter's information back into late-time radiation, ensuring no fundamental information is lost, part of the same wave. Just as ring subnodes appear at close intervals, black hole horizons can be interpreted as extreme fractal nodes in that domain. Thus, the theory seamlessly extends across phenomena from stable subatomic shells to stable cosmic orbits, from ring subnodes to black hole horizons, all under the same vacuum push synergy. In everyday language, it might be said, everything in the cosmos, from the smallest electron shell to the ring of Saturn, is shaped by the same cosmic breath. That breath is the interplay of a subtle magnetism and an ever-shifting vacuum, forging fractal waves that repeat at all scales. This synergy is not just an abstract notion, but reveals how material existence forms stable pockets, atoms in your hands, planets in the sky, and star centers radiating cosmic influence. One might envision an infinite fractal garden. Each bloom in that garden is a wave cycle. Some smaller blossoms appear as atomic magic numbers. Some grander blossoms manifest as Jupiter and its ring shell. The final bloom is the star node shining at the apex. Meanwhile, entire galaxies are yet another layer, themselves shaped by the fractal vacuum that ridicules the notion of dark matter. Everything is connected. Everything is a wave in the same pond, scaled up or down by the fractal factor. So, how to explain all this in simplest words without math? Imagine you have a magical web that flows through the universe. This web is spun from two threads, a faint magnetism that seeps through hidden dimensions, guiding how space vibrates. A living vacuum that can push outward rather than pulling inward. Where these threads overlap, they create knots in the web, nodes, where stability arises. On the tiny scale, these knots appear at specific numbers of protons in an atom, making some atomic elements especially stable. On the cosmic scale, these knots become orbits around the star, or ring formations around a planet, or even the star itself as a final, grand knot. No matter how big or small you go, be it the size of an atom's nucleus or the size of an entire star system, the same invisible web is at work. And each star system weaves its own version of this web. That means, in another distant system, the knots might happen at different places, so they'd have different stable elements we don't even know about. If we tried to see it visually, we might sense it as a flower of life pattern, circles overlapping circles, repeating across scale after scale, each intersection point forming a stable node. Instead of the old idea that mass pulls everything, we see a gentle cosmic push that arranges matter in repeating shells. And it's not random. These shells map out stable structures for both atoms and orbits. Meanwhile, big cosmic mysteries like where's the missing mass, or why is the universe accelerating, vanish, because the push is gentle but universal, revealing no need for hidden matter or mysterious energy. Ultimately, the reason we call this the golden theory of everything is that it dissolves all boundaries. No separate frameworks for quantum and gravitational phenomena, no leftover puzzles like black hole meltdown or cosmic acceleration requiring separate fixes, no confusion about how stable elements arise or how planets end up in orbits. Both are wave nodes in the same fractal synergy. No universal set of stable elements across all star systems, allowing cosmic diversity in chemical magic. It's an all-encompassing, luminous vision of nature, bridging the smallest electrons to the largest cosmic orbits, culminating in the star. We can claim, wholeheartedly, that in this Grand Febernachy SMF RVS perspective, we see nature's tapestry as a single fractal wave lattice from top to bottom, from micro to macro. Stand outside on a clear night. Look up, aware that the planets drifting around the sun do so not because some invisible rope yanks them inward, but because the vacuum breathes outward. Meanwhile, the very atoms in your body exist stably at certain magic numbers because that same outward breath hits a resonant wave crest in the subatomic realm. It's all one wave, one cosmic push, leading from helium's gentle completeness, Z equals 2, up to the final solar radiance, Z equals 164. In that sense, the entire cosmos becomes a garden in bloom, each star system sprouting its own array of stable elements, each ring formation, each planet orbit, each star shaping a fractal labyrinth that is wholly alive. Freed from the necessity of unseen mass or unknown energies, we stand in awe of a universe that, at every scale, breathes the same hidden magnetism and living vacuum into wondrous forms. That is the Grand Febernachy SMF RVS theory, told in the language of human wonder rather than cryptic mathematics. It is epic and illuminating because it reintroduces us to a cosmos of unbroken unity, where difference in scale is but a single fractal step, and where every local arrangement conjures its own stable realm. By letting the vacuum push, by letting subtle magnetism guide that push, we uncover a golden thread that weaves everything into one resonant tapestry, the ultimate unification of the micro and the macro, the ephemeral atom and the blazing sun, in a single, harmonious cosmic story.